What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. This is going to be just a more in-depth analysis of my expectations. We're going to be starting on the monthly Dixie, and I'm just going to go straight into things. Also, the reason I'm doing this is because I wanted to make sure that my I know I was having problems with lag on my previous videos, so I'm kind of just working on that. But yeah, so I'm just going to draw our attention to some levels right now that I have my eye set on. So we have this monthly wick here that we haven't actually traded to yet, which is also a breaker high, low, high, lower low, then we break higher. So this is a monthly breaker high. And you can see this is the month currently. We're in November. I've just started November, and I'm expecting a strong reaction off this level because I do believe our full drawn liquidity is going to be this bearish order block here that we haven't even traded to yet. So I am still expecting price to want to draw into that range and fill this in, but you can see we've had a slight turn in the market, so I do think it's going to return down to this breaker before we eventually reach up to this bearish order block residing here. So let me just write out monthly bearish order block. So these are two levels that we can have on our charts in terms of buy side and sell side, but you can see that we're starting to push towards the sell side, which again is why I wouldn't be surprised if we traded down into this monthly breaker and potentially into this wick here. But let's drop down to the weekly now. And yeah, you can see we've had this big down candle from last week after non-farm payroll. This is our current week. We're just going into Thursday now. I do believe we created the high of the day on Wednesday, and remember we're expecting a trade down to the monthly breaker high, and that means this is the monthly breaker because it's the last up candle before the down move, before the move higher. So this range here, we can drag out this candle like so. And then we know that this range in here is the monthly breaker block. I'm just thinking how we can, let's draw a box for it actually. But yeah, the reason I'm doing this is, one, to test my new settings on the recording software, because it hasn't been the best and I've been meaning to do it for a while. And I just had a comment from one of you guys saying how it's impossible to follow along, and I can understand that. So that's probably the reason why I've thought, that's one of the reasons why I think recording this will help me test it, and also we can do some more in-depth analysis. So we have a weekly breaker here. Let's just make that a little bit bigger. That I want to see price trade into, and we can also mark out the 50% level off that. I'll make that black as well. So that's the weekly breaker, and then that's also going to be 50% of this wick, which I have actually drawn our attention to, and technically there is a fair value gap between this high here and this low. That does create a fair value gap in itself. So this area here is something to keep an eye on in terms of weekly targets. So yeah, let's draw that out as a weekly fair value gap. Then we'll drop to the daily, and you can see here that weekly fair value gap is also a daily fair value gap, which is perfect for our analysis. So yeah, what am I expecting tomorrow? I want to see some downwards price action. I'm expecting there to be a turn in the market, and it would be nice to try and get the high of the day. So how would we go about getting the high of the day? Well, considering we traded up into this wick and took out buy stops here, this wick now, 50% of that should give us a nice high of the day. And price doesn't need to trade up here. We might see movement straight away, so to speak. But I can put daily consequent encroachment like so. And then we have a fair value gap here that we're looking to get disrespected. So when price does start to trade down, I want to see this fair value gap get disrespected, find resistance, and continue to push lower into the sell stops residing here, which is the start of that weekly breaker, and into this weekly fair value gap where I'd like to see a reaction. So let's go to the 4 hour now, and you can see we do have a fair value gap here. We have dipped into it already. I don't really want to see price go up there again. But it may very well do it. There is an hourly gap up here though. That could be a breakaway gap. So this range here, this wick. Let's go to the 4 hour though. And then we can look at this 4 hour fair value gap. Price may want to trade into there as an entry. And then yeah, I'd like to see some selling going on. I'm going to make this orange, and I'm going to put 4 hour fair value gap. But yeah, hopefully my video content is much less laggy. I'm not sure why it was lagging so heavily, but I just watched a video explaining the best settings to have and stuff. So hopefully this video will prove to me that it's much better, much cleaner overall. So where's the south side liquidity? Well, we've got stops below this low, and these lows here. But we can just do this. As that's where I want to see price draw to. Like I said, it would be nice for price to leave this alone. It doesn't have to, but it would be nice if we could leave that alone. Let's just mark out our daily dividers real quick. To be honest though, the system is already, like, my recording experience is already smoother, so I can imagine that what the settings I've got now are helping to some kind of extent. And it's not even like I'm gaming or anything on here, so my content shouldn't be lagging. It's quite embarrassing actually, but hey ho. So we obviously have stops rested below Monday's low. We took out buy side there, and we have relatively equal lows here now. That's why I'm expecting there to be aggressive selling during the London session. As we come to this Sunday level as well, let's look at this range. Interesting. But you'll see that we traded up into this bearish order block. If you look at the lows of this, you can see how we traded into that, and you can see that we had a reaction off it, which is beautiful to see, like this is what we want to see happening. This is another reason I'm expecting price to turn around. We've filled in our range now. So what do we want to see? We want to see us leave the range. And then we can also grade this range. So this high to this low, I believe. I think I'm doing this right. Am I doing this right? But yeah, we have a range anyway, so we can anticipate levels actually. Really, we should be using this range. So we can anticipate levels at which we're going to find resistance, like here, such as where we're consolidating. Here, here, here. And then I want to see us run down into that south side liquidity and eventually reach down to here. It seems like a lot, but we do have high impact news releases Thursday and Friday, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what happened. Excuse me. But yeah, again, there's that 4 hour fair value gap. There is an order block here. So if we look at the 50% level of this, we'll make it white. Price may want to touch that and then trade lower. And then we can also look for a breaker, right? So we got a high, a low. Have we taken out this low? I think we took out this low. But we're kind of consolidating within the range, so we need to find the more shorter term breaker. This candle here, last down close before the up move. But yeah, we'll see. But overall, I just want to keep my eyes on that as a potential entry. You see, look at that. That's what's making me think that we may not even get above there, you know. But we'll see. Right, so that's going to be everything on dollar and why I'm expecting lower prices. And yeah, let's get straight into what is this? Got so many lines now, I don't even know what's what. I'm waiting for that trading view Black Friday offer. Those trading view Black Friday offers for me to upgrade again. But yeah, let's see if we can get down here tomorrow. Right, let's go on to GBP real quick. So if we're expecting higher, you see GBP's already traded to the breaker, high, low, higher, high. It's already traded into it, right? Which is what's making me nervous, not nervous, but like a little bit unsure. But we've traded into the breaker and you can see we've reacted off on the monthly, but we may want to trade deeper into that candle. There's also this bearish order block here, and maybe even here. Yeah, this ain't. I think GBP is going to be quite, what's the word, consolidated? I think GBP is going to be quite consolidated. I think GBP is going to be quite consolidated this oncoming months. But again, if we're expecting low dollar, we should expect higher GBP. So that means we want to see it trade into this breaker. Well, it's a bearish order block, isn't it? So we can mark that out as a monthly bearish order block. And then on the sell side, well, we've already traded into this. We're reacting off this order block, pushing up higher. But let's go down to the weekly. I do think GBP is going to struggle to get to this level. But you'll see that there's a fair value gap right where that monthly bearish order block starts, right? So we can expect a reaction off it. So we can just draw that out. Weekly fair value gap. And you can see how we've traded down into the breaker here. If you look at this wick, you see that we traded down into that, reacted off it, also into this wick. So it seems to me now like we're in a very deep discount, which is again supportive of our expectations for higher dollar, but that just means that we need to see an expansion now, running into these highs and eventually into this fair value gap, this weekly fair value gap. Also, we've created relative highs here. But here's that daily breaker, low, high, lower, low. You can see we traded down into that breaker here. Traded down into it. So again, same as dollar, I want to see this stay now at as resistance here. Support, sorry. Consequent encroachment. Daily consequent encroachment. And there's also an inversion fair value gap. If we draw out from, I'll show you now, from here across here, you can see how that's providing support. So, and that's at the top of it. So these are all confluences as to why I'd want to see a strong reaction off this level to push higher and run into this weak fair value gap and potentially into this bearish order block. Here's the 4 hour. You can see right now it's 9. I don't know what time it is actually, but you can see we're kind of dipping down into this fair value gap on the 4 hour, which is fine. We'll make it blue though. I love this blue. And then let me just take off the 50% level. You can see how we're dipping down into that. And there's also a break at, because this is remember this is a bullish order block, isn't it? So price is allowed to trade back into this open, and that would be a buy in itself. So we can use that as a buying opportunity. We have a miscation block down here. We don't have a breaker, which is interesting. Well, technically we do low, high. No, we don't. Mitigation's down there. But if we are to reach up into the swing high, there's going to be a lot of movement on pound. Let me see if there's any large news releases on pound real quick. Right, so there isn't any large news drivers on pound today, but there are 3 tomorrow. So again, we may very well see this fair value gap get reached, and this entire range from this high to this low, this entire range gets swept, because I'm just seeing this as a retracement, you know, and we have relative equal highs that have been created. Sorry. So there's every reason we should be buying at this level. Well, I say that. Don't take my word for it. But when you compare it to what Euro's been doing, you'll understand why this level is significant. Oh, I mean, why I'd expect more expansion on pound, you know? But this seems like a typical price action. What time is it? 10:50. It seems like we're coming back to an original consolidation. We've already traded the order block. That's what, and you can see that we're reacting to the price right now. But yeah, it's just very interesting, really. Like I said, tomorrow we could. Let me just quickly get my daily dividers up. But tomorrow we could easily grab these stops still, or depending on how much strength we're showing, we'll just start moving up straight away, and we'll have a bullish London session, you know? Do you know what I mean? Make that red, make that dash. There we go. So now we have the Sunday opening. We have that buy side up there. But like I said, we'd have to see some heavy aggression from pound. But we can't forget that it's not as if pound hasn't got high impact news releases. But yeah, overall, I want to see this level respected, because remember, that's that consequent encroachment. Why is that all the way out here? That's that daily consequent encroachment I don't want to see price go past. And the fact that we traded down to this 4-hour order block already suggests that price may not even want to take out this low, so this level might be defended. We've had a nice run on stops down here and an expansion higher, so this could just simply be a pullback into the consolidation into this order block, which is completely fine. And then we might start seeing a run up from London, as it's got a way to go. That's going to be everything on pound for now. Let's look at euro. I do want to try and finish this at 30 minutes. And then we are going to compare them, but euro's a little bit more, what's the word? Was a little bit more stronger anyway. We can see we're trading into this breaker, high, low, higher, high. This is the last down close before the up move, before the down move. So we can look at, the 50% level of this consequent encroachment of that breaker, That's something to pay attention to. Is it a breakout? I mean, it's a breakout. It's also it's a breaker. It's breaker consequent encroachment. But you see, we're also trading into this bearish order block, right? This is the order block, so we can look at the 50% level of that as well. Really, we should probably look at that. Is that the same level? It's pretty much the same level. Yeah, it's pretty much the same level. So instead, let's make this order block. Wow, it's not that range, though, is it? It's up there. Let's just keep at the break right now. But you can see how bullishly we're running and how quickly we're running up into this range, you know. Let's go to the weekly. You can see we had a big week. And we have that's also 50% of this wick, which is nice to see. And there's a breaker here. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We've got a high, a low, a high, high, and a break lower. So we can look at this last down close candle as a breaker block for price to want to trade into. Preferably the close off it. But this is all a breaker. So we can look at that, type in weekly breaker, and price is going to likely draw up there. That was a monthly breaker, consequent encroachment. So it's midpoint of a monthly breaker. And then it's the weekly breaker. Let's move this to the front though. So we have all these swing highs, aggressively move higher. You can see we traded down into this candle. Let's go down to the daily. Same thing once again. You can see how we're respecting this. We're respecting this order block. I know it seems crazy, but this bearish order block is now acting as a bullish order block. So every time price is trading down into it, you can see we're grabbing stops, supporting it. So if it trades down in there one more time, I'd want to be buying. Why? Because I'm expecting a push up into the weekly breaker, potentially into this bearish order block. I don't really see any imbalances. There's one there, but we know that we have this level to keep our eyes out for. So let's do the same thing we've been doing on every other pair. Draw out the 50% level. And then we can write daily consequent encroachment. So price very well might want to tip down into this fair value gap. It likely will. We've got a breaker here as well. Same thing. You know, so that's last up close for the down move, so we can be buying anything below there, which is where the fair value gap starts. Look at that. So I want to see price dip down here, accumulate start positions, and then use that to then trade into these highs here. Got a nice lovely imbalance here to fill, and we might want to fill this imbalance. But you see how everything's just coming in line with each other. This is the importance. This is the importance of top-down analysis. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna be finished soon. If you got through the whole video, by the way, props to you. But I can already see, you know, price coming down here. Preferably, I'd like this level to be left open. That will act as a breakaway gap. I would like to see that left. But we can easily come down below this low here. Buy those stops. Here's the last up candle before the down move. You know, so price is going to want to trade down into that, probably during London. Look at that. Beautiful consolidation. But yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully my videos work. Hopefully there's no lag in this video, and hopefully there'll no longer be any lag. So apologies, but that's going to be everything, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.